Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. For 20 years, the entire world has been absolutely captivated and honestly completely divided by the most intense debate in the history of sports. But the conversations we usually have about this, they're kind of missing the bigger picture. We get so bogged down in the minute details, the weekly highlights and the endless scorecards. Today, we're going to step back from all of that. We are going to look at this epic rivalry through a completely different lens.
For years, people have tried to settle this argument just by counting. Who has more goals? Who has more championships? But here's the thing. The data actually shows a statistical dead heat. So if the numbers are virtually tied, why is the divide so unbelievably passionate? Well, because this isn't just a game of numbers anymore. It is fundamentally a clash of two entirely different ways of moving through the world, achieving success, and defining what human potential actually looks like.
We call this the business of greatness. And when we say business, we aren't just talking about sneaker deals or billboards, though obviously those are huge. We're really talking about the internal, psychological enterprise. How do you build a legacy from the ground up? And more importantly, how do you maintain it? These two individuals haven't just played a sport. They have architected the two most valuable personal brands in human history. And what's absolutely fascinating is that they used completely different blueprints to get there.
We essentially have two completely different blueprints for human achievement here. On one side, we have the high-performance startup. This is a philosophy built on absolute, unyielding discipline. It's calculated, it's aggressive, and it's all about optimizing every single variable, literally down to microsleeps. On the exact opposite end of the spectrum, we have the supernatural glitch. This is a genius that feels like an actual glitch in the matrix, something so effortless, instinctive, and pure that it completely defies standard logic. It's not about grinding, it's an almost otherworldly natural phenomenon. These two approaches aren't just different, they are the exact antithesis of one another.
Section 1. The CR7 Formula, the corporate machine. Let's see how this builds with our first paradigm. This is the high-performance startup model brought to life. Ronaldo didn't just play football, he systematically optimized it. He treats his physical frame exactly like a corporate asset. We're talking constant maintenance, peak-level investment, and literally zero downtime. I mean, this is a guy who reportedly utilizes 5 90-minute sleep cycles a day and does a 3 a.m. cryotherapy routine just to ensure maximum recovery. Think about any high-functioning corporate enterprise. It requires relentless upkeep and investment to stay ahead of the competition, right? That is exactly how this blueprint operates. While others were resting, he was scaling. He approached his body and his skill set as a business that required 24/7 optimization. And his external business brand is an exact reflection of this internal training, aggressive, global, and painstakingly calculated. Excellence is not an act. It is an obsession. This isn't just some motivational poster. It's the core operating system of the CR7 Formula. He built his entire empire by convincing the world and proving it day in and day out that this level of greatness requires an almost terrifying level of obsession. If you follow this blueprint, you're telling the world that through sheer grit, absolute discipline, and an unwillingness to ever power down, you can conquer anything. Section 2. The Messi Narrative, the artistic phenomenon. Okay, let's shift our pacing and look at the exact opposite approach. If Ronaldo is the perfect corporate machine, optimized to the absolute limit, Messi represents something entirely different. This brings us to his gifted prodigy brand, the quiet force that turns impossible equations into routine. Messi's strategy relies entirely on subtlety rather than brute intensity. While others sprint relentlessly, Messi famously spends the opening minutes of a match just walking. He casually strolls around the pitch, scanning the defense, finding the invisible angles, basically analyzing the field like a supercomputer. When you watch this blueprint in action, it doesn't look like a machine working at maximum capacity. It looks like someone effortlessly solving complex equations that the rest of us can't even comprehend. For Messi, the business of legacy was never about manufacturing some loud external image. It was about something much rarer, protecting the integrity of the gift. It's a really fascinating contrast. While the startup model demands you continuously broadcast your relentless work ethic to the world, the artistic blueprint is remarkably quiet. It's about not letting external pressures, corporate demands, or the noise of the world corrupt that pure, innate talent you started with. By simply remaining true to his core identity and letting the genius speak for itself, he built a brand just as powerful and globally resonant, but through a completely opposite psychological path. Section 3. The verdict. The psychology of choice. Let's move to our final synthesis. So, we've laid out the corporate machine and the artistic phenomenon.
We've seen that both blueprints have resulted in the highest levels of global success imaginable. And like we said earlier, when we look at the data, it's a statistical dead heat. They are mathematically tied at the summit. So, why does the debate still rage on? Well, because you don't choose a side based on numbers. This legacy war is won by human values. On one side, we have conquering through grit alone. On the other, conquering through the perfection of innate talent. When someone argues passionately for one over the other, they aren't really arguing about sports anymore. They're holding up a mirror to their own values. Do you value the person who outworks everyone, who treats their life like a high-performance startup and proves that sheer discipline can conquer the world? Or do you value the pure, unadulterated artist, the one who protects their natural gift and achieves perfection through effortless instinct? You choose the side that aligns with how you view human potential. So, machine or artist? Which are you? If you were building your own legacy from scratch today, which psychological blueprint would you adopt? We've seen the absolute pinnacle of both the machine-like discipline and the artist's focus. Both work. Both create monumental, historic legacies, but they require completely different sacrifices and mindsets. So as you look at your own goals, your own career, your own path to success, which blueprint makes the most sense to you? Are you the high-performance startup or the supernatural glitch? Let that question sit with you as you figure out how to build your own legacy.